to come after him. Okay, so that being said, okay, when you come up to the line of scrimmage right now, you ask yourself as a quarterback and as a center, where are the possible rush people?
Welcome in, everyone. TexAgs Live, presented by Specs. We're here inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. I got Cade Bickham and McKinley Polanski here with me. And Cade, I totally shouted out the entire crew on our final segment of the show, and I forgot you somehow. The one man that's keeping me on air. So I apologize. Thank you.
You know, it's all right, Nick. I know that you appreciate me, and we had a good day today. It was a little few hiccups, but we made everything work.
It's all right, dude. It's all right. That's the beauty of live broadcasts, right? You work through the mess, and we made it through. Here we are. It's 10:59, and we're chilling. We're on to the weekend. So McKinley Polanski's over in the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley, favorite guest, favorite part of the show today?
Okay, my favorite part of the show was SEC Mike. I know he can be controversial sometimes, but
he does like to be controversial.
Yes, but I thought he said good stuff today.
He did, yeah.
I really did like what he said, and I thought you did a great job hosting.
Thank you, appreciate it. Cade, favorite guest?
You know what? I'll go with John Harris last segment. That was really good, and then also let's see, I'm trying to think. Oh, Jim Turner, awesome. Jim Turner was great.
The best, the GOAT. Check it out. Here's a rewind. I mean, around the SEC, plenty to talk about. We'll kind of spend some time talking about last week because it was probably one of the more hectic weeks in the SEC in a while. But we'll focus on the Aggies first and kind of move into the Vandy game. I'm sure you got a lot to say. The Arkansas upset over Tennessee. So we'll start with A&M. You know, they come out strong and take it to Mizzou at Kyle Field. So what are your biggest takeaways from the Aggies' performance?
Yeah, I mean, strong is probably not even a bold enough adjective, Nick. I mean, Texas A&M dominated. And, yeah, there was a top 10 team in that matchup, but based on that result, it was the wrong team. Wrong team's ranked in the top 10. A&M looks like a legitimate playoff contender now. And, that I don't think Missouri is at all, but that should not diminish what Texas A&M did to Missouri because they just completely outclassed them. And credit Mike Elko. I think as we approach the halfway point of the season, I think Mike Elko is your SEC Coach of the Year up to this point. What a move to put in Connor Wigman. I mean, it looks like a genius move now. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I wouldn't have done that the way they were playing. I know they were not, blowing people out, but Marcel Reed undefeated as your starting quarterback. I thought they would just roll with him. But, again, Mike Elko's pushing all the right buttons. The defense is getting better and better week in, week out. And I think this is an Aggie team that is going to be even better at the end of the season than they are right now, which should be a scary thought for the rest of the opponents on the schedule.
Yeah, that's a big time difference, I guess. And from previous regimes, it seemed like there was rarely improvement throughout the season. But like you mentioned, it just every week by week they seem to be getting better and better. So just how important is it for A&M to carry the momentum? Or I guess I should ask. Do you think the bye week is almost like a bad thing? Like, obviously, you want them to rest up, but the Aggies are playing so well. It's kind of like around here, we're like, hey, we want them to keep playing, football games because they're playing so well, but they need to rest up. So do you think, how do you think they'll look coming out of the bye week against Mississippi State?
Yeah, I was about to say, you when you're that hot, you want to keep it going. But, again, this is a brutal conference, and even a team like Mississippi State who – competed with Texas for a lot of that game. You want to get your rest because so many conference opponents in a row is going to get it. You're going to really start to have that wear and tear. But, I mean, as long as A&M can keep running the ball the way they are, shout out Le'Veon Moss, leads the SEC in rushing right now, and the way they're defending the run, I'm not sitting here predicting A&M's going to win every game, but if they perform to that level, they will. They will win every single game remaining on the schedule, including Texas. So, I think it'll be good for them to get the bye. But, I'm not going to lie. There is a small part of me that you want to see that momentum just keep on rolling.
We're trying to cherish it here and hope it continues. Like you mentioned, very manageable schedule going forward. But before we kind of look ahead, let's talk about the win over Mizzou. Just your take on the Aggies taking it to the Tigers at Kyle Field.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably my take is the same that everybody's had all week long. Besides the dominant win, I'll be transparent, and I've even heard from Aggie fans who have said the same, is I certainly wasn't expecting that from Connor Wigman, but I think I did. I think it is a little understated when he's healthy, the difference that he can have on this team. Now, you want to credit the coaching staff, Colin Klein, this and that. But listen, I was one of these people, maybe naively, that I was under the impression, Wigman's been out since week 1. You got to buy this week. Going into last week, you're sitting at 4-1. Do you just rest him and do you just give the job back to him, even if he's ready to go? Marcel Reed's been winning games, and I understand that the old cliche of you don't lose your starting job because of an injury, but Marcel Reed was winning games, and I did wonder, what would happen when Wigman comes back. Well, for Mike Elko and that staff, it appeared to be a no-brainer, and I think we see why it was a no-brainer, because Wigman obviously adds just a totally different dimension in the pass game. He was phenomenal. We know how good the wide receiver core is. And so now you add that with the power run game and the defense, the way it's been playing, you're really cooking with gasoline now. So it's exciting because, I think when you were 4-1 with Marcel Reed, this is no disrespect intended at all. You did kind of feel like you could only win games one way. And I know this is something David and I talked about last week, but now, you can probably win a little bit more high scoring games. It doesn't have to be kind of this ugly, grinded out kind of affair. And I think it changes. Really, it sounds crazy, but I think it changes the whole trajectory of the season to have a healthy Connor Wigman, certainly to have a healthy Connor Wigman if he's going to play the way that he did last Saturday against Mizzou.
Thinking from a Lions standpoint, right? So just for your general knowledge, right, when you're in the run game, right, you have no choice but to block fronts. Okay, so whatever's in front of you, it doesn't matter what the position of the player is. Obviously, you have to block the player. So if they walk up a safety on the edge and I'm the right tackle right now, we run zone to the right, and I'm the last blocker, and he comes off the edge, I have to block him, right? So that's just blocking the front, okay? And now in pass protection, it's different. Okay, so in pass protection, we want to block the line on the best pass rushers, and we want to put the back or the tight end, if it's 7-man protection, on the smaller players, of course. We never want to give the back or the tight end Von Miller or any rusher like that, of course. We want to make sure that we're blocking people. So that's the big picture for you, okay, as far as when we're protecting, right? So I just want you to think about this, right? So when you're in a pocket protection, and that's the other reason I'm talking about this, because obviously, right, Wigman's a quarterback, okay, and he's going to do plenty of drop-back pass in every one of these games coming down the road, okay? That is a theme for them, obviously, right? So the thing you have to think about is this. For the centers and guards right here, you have about 1.5 yards to work, okay? So that means this, right? So if the ball gets snapped right now and I'm playing center or guard, okay, I have about 1.5 yards right now, okay, to work with the quarterback, okay? I have about that much space, so you can see right here. If I'm playing tackle, okay, I can work all the way back to the opposite goal line. I can go as far back as I want, okay, but I can only come in one body length. I can only step in one body length, all right, for it to be a real good pocket, okay? So, again, I'm going to show you that here in a second. So let me just show you the first clip right here, right? So I'll just teach it to you. I want you to think this, too, so I'll just kind of do two things right here, right? Let's just talk about, okay, possible rush people, because I'm going to end, okay, with one of the plays against Missouri where they had 7 all up, okay, and how you go about blocking that, okay? So this is a 4-down front right here, okay? So one of the big things in protection is, and so this will become a bigger deal as we go this season because they're not going to let Wigman just stand in there and throw the ball. They're going to come after him, okay? So that being said, okay, when you come up to the line of scrimmage right now, you ask yourself as a quarterback and as a center, where are the possible rush people? Okay, so if you have 2 receivers out there, right, obviously that person's not a rush person, that person's not a rush person. Okay, but they have 2 people out there, okay, to cover that. Okay, now, to cover an underneath thing in here, right, is he a rush person? Yes. Is he coming, do you think? Probably not. He can come, but probably not. Why? Because they need an underneath player to get out there and cover, okay? And so he's probably not coming, but he can. Okay, and then where are your real rush players? Okay, you got a low player right here. Okay, you got a corner right here or a nickel. All right, so the bottom line is this. He's a possible rush, possible rush, possible rush. Right, so when you set the protection right now, right, that's where you want to start it. So right now, like you be in 2 jet right here, so the back would be there. Now the line, right, they'll go like this. This is the man side, this is the slide side. They would start the point right there, okay, and then they would slide out to this point and to that player right there.
What are your takeaways from the Aggies win over Mizzou, man? It was really, really fun to watch. Really impressive win. Their biggest win over a top 10 ranked opponent in program history in terms of margin of victory.
Yeah, and I think the performance really exhibited that. You know, sometimes you see a score and you go, well, it really wasn't that way. You know, it's like the Texans in some sense. You know, we've been playing a lot of close games, but they haven't been close. They haven't felt close. They don't look close on the statistic chart after the game. That game was 41-10 all the way. And I know Missouri fans want to say, well, you know, if they would have called interference on the deep ball to Theo Weiss, okay, well, no, trust me. Those guys got beaten into submission. And it really, to me, was kind of the first time that I felt like, yeah, that's Mike Elko's stamp on this team. Defensively, they were all over the place. They were physical. They dominated up front like you'd expect a bunch of NFL draft picks, future NFL draft picks to dominate. Offensive line really took over the game, the way they ran the ball, and just all throughout the game. Connor was really, really good. I thought the receivers got separation. And I told David before the game, I wasn't totally sure about what to do with Connor because it just didn't know where his health was. And they went with Connor, and I'm glad they did because that was the Connor Wigman that could end up being an NFL draft pick, high NFL draft pick. He was composed. He was accurate. It was precise. I mean, he completed a lot of balls, but he's very precise. He was very accurate where he wanted to throw the ball. And it just all worked together. I mean, the offensive line was really good. So I don't know how many more good things you can really say about that performance. And there's a part of you that's like, man, can we just keep playing? Because we're kind of hot right now, you know. So let's just keep playing. But you know, it's a good respite to before you finish up the season. The last 5-6 weeks or whatever it is, and then concluding with that game at the end. That's going to take all kinds of emotion to get through. But it was just refreshing to watch. This is what Aggies have talked about for years. Like, this is what we'd like to see. You know, it was wrecking crew like on defense. It was like 2020, the COVID year on offense, where they just Spiller just dominated games. So it really, to me, was what I think A&M football can be.
Everyone, like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. I won't bore you with it. Cade, I don't know what you got going on there. It looks like a hat or some sort.
Yeah, Richard put this little helmet on my head.
Oh, that's the helmet of shame. You're not supposed to be wearing that if you're doing good. So anyways, have a good weekend, y'all.